888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. ESPN Nation, presented by Dr. Pepper. It's not college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing. Each and every Monday at this time, Chris Canty gives us 3 items, and he reviews them upon further review.
All right, let's get to it. Upon further review, coming off of Week 8 of the NFL season and Week 9 of the college football season.
Ooh.
Things are rolling. Let's get to it.
Number 3.
From bayou to buyout. According to our very own Pete Thamel, LSU has informed Brian Kelly of their intention to dismiss him. Kelly is owed $54 million in buyout money. This comes after LSU was drubbed 49-25 by Texas A&M in Death Valley on Saturday night. LSU blew an 18-14 halftime lead as A&M erupted for 35 unanswered points, leaving the Tigers at 5-3 overall and 2-3 in SEC play this season, effectively erasing any hopes of contending for a championship. Kelly is now 34-14 in his 4 seasons at LSU, just 5-11 against ranked opponents, and the Tigers have lost at least 3 games in each of his seasons in charge and failed to reach the playoff. The irony of his situation is that he left Notre Dame to give himself a better chance to win a national title. And since that change, the Irish have played in the national title game, and his former Irish assistant, Coach Mike Elko, has Texas A&M as a virtual lock to make the college football playoff this season. LSU AD Scott Woodward went all in on this season, nearly tripling the team's payroll when it comes to NIL from a year ago at approximately $19 million. And the results just haven't been there. What adds another layer to an already complex situation with Brian Kelly is that the university is searching for a permanent president. And in the absence of said president, Governor Jeff Landry of the state of Louisiana has become integral and is expected to meet with key donors and board members. I'm not sure exactly how this process is going to play out for LSU, but it's clear that they made the right decision in moving on from Brian Kelly because he wasn't the right guy for the job in Baton Rouge.
It never made sense to me upon arrival. It really didn't. That doesn't mean that LSU's not a great program. It is. That doesn't mean that Brian Kelly hasn't had a great career. He has. I never understood that fit. And we've been talking about this now for the last few years. We talked about it on Friday, that if they lose the game to Texas A&M, is the hot seat gonna, really be as hot as could be? And obviously they do it over the weekend, but I never got it. I never understood. He seemed on the surface, and I know there were a lot of hiccups at Notre Dame, but he seemed perfect for a if you put him at Penn State tomorrow, I would say, wow, that makes a lot of sense. That's a good fit. That's where Brian Kelly fits. I believe that if you're going to coach in the SEC, you have to be a WWE character. I've got to know what you are, what your entrance music is, if you're a good guy or a bad guy, and you've got to have that persona of WWE, and it's got to be real, not a fake accent and a TikTok video that looks unbelievably uncomfortable.
Family.
I mean, seriously. Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer, Lane Kiffin, Nick Saban, these guys were perfect for the SEC. They feel like they have like Vince McMahon back in the day, now Triple H are writing characters for them, and that's what they are. I don't see that for Brian Kelly. That's what the SEC is. You need that persona. It's all about sales. He's not a salesman in that regard.
Yeah, I don't need the sales. I don't need the character. I need the winning. And he didn't bring enough of it. Last year, he said, we're taking receipts. We'll see at the national championship game. They were ranked number 9 in the country heading into the season, and they had, I believe, an $18 million roster. You lost 3 out of the last 4 games. And meanwhile, we knew that he was on the hot seat heading into the season when all of his predecessors had won a natty in year 4. Saban, Les Miles, and Coach O. This was the season for Brian Kelly, and LSU greatly underperformed. Now, listen, he's getting $50+ million to not work. Good work if you can get it. But LSU needs to get this hire right because this is too good of a program and too much talent in that region for them not to be right there.
Yeah, but we're now getting to the point now where this is going to be a very expensive hiring cycle in college football because I don't know that there are enough high-profile coaches that fit the mold of what those universities are looking for. When I say those universities, I'm talking about Penn State. I'm talking about Florida. And now we're talking about LSU. There are only so much of those coaches to go around. And do they really want to roll the dice when it comes to somebody that doesn't have a proven track record at a Power 4 conference? There's only one Lane Kiffin. He can't be the guy for all of those job vacancies.
And he also doesn't guarantee a championship. Like,
But there's also no guarantee that he decides he's going to leave Oxford either.
Yeah,
so there's that. I mean, this becomes really, really interesting in terms of the path forward for LSU.
So
who is the guy that they're going to get that can satisfy the alumni, can satisfy the former football players, can satisfy the fan base, that's actually gettable?
Yeah, there's one guy that I have not heard mentioned, but he's never been a college football coach before, and a head coach before, and I don't know that you should start your college football head coaching career at a place like LSU. It's too big. And that's Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady, who was the passing game coordinator for LSU with Joe Burrow and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. I would like there to be a stop in between. The irony of that is he very well could get an NFL head coaching job this offseason, and the same thing would be applied there. He's never been a coach before.
But you don't have to recruit.
No, you don't. But Joe Brady is a name that I don't understand why that hasn't been mentioned.
That's a good point. Can I throw another name out for you?
Sure.
John Gruden?
Yeah, so when you said
John
that...
Gruden wants to get back into coaching. He's shown an affinity for the SEC. I don't hate the idea of John Gruden going down to the Bayou.
Certainly a personality.
Absolutely right. That fits my WWE mentality, right? Everyone's going to see the coach. Everyone's going to know the personality. Everybody's going to wait for the press conferences. I mean, Smalls, I get it. You want the wins. I think in modern day college football, you kind of need the personality to get the money, to get the players, to get the wins.
But Saban's not this bombastic personality. He just wins.
Yeah, but you know what he is.
He's got lore and aura because of the wins. He's not Lane Kiffin that's going to come out and make these crazy statements in a press conference. He just wins.
You're right. He also walked away voluntarily. For what reason? This is not the college football that he grew up in.
Yeah.
Right? Think about it. He walked away voluntarily. If he wanted to be LSU's coach, which is, by the way, where they should start. If you don't start with a no from Nick Saban, you are not doing your job. He coached there once. He won a national championship once. He is there. He won obviously a lot more than that. I would literally send out a press release if I'm LSU. Nick Saban has said, no, we're going to start our search now. Just get the credit for offering Nick Saban. I'm not kidding. I'd announced that I got turned down by Saban to make my fans and my alumni realize, all right, they're taking this thing seriously.
Next.
Number 2.
After their 34-26 win over Oklahoma, Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin wasn't done with the Sooners. While doing a post-game interview with our very own Monty McGrath, Lane trolled Oklahoma midseason All-American defensive lineman David Stone, and I love it. I love it. Quote, "You're a little quieter now than before," Kiffin said with a smirk on his face. Quote, "This guy yelled at me during the game like 5 times how great they were and that we can't score on them," end quote. As a player, if you're going to trash talk the coach, you better go out there and back it up. Not that anything is wrong with a little chirping, but that's usually reserved for player to player. When you get the other team's coach involved, that's a different level of disrespect. Everyone has got to miss me with the pearl clutching and the hand wringing. Lane was absolutely within his right to let him know how he felt, that he was feeling some kind of way about all of the trash talk throughout the game. Oklahoma has one of the best defenses in the country, allowing only 213 total yards a game and giving up only 9.4 points per game. And Ole Miss hung 30 on them while racking up 431 total yards. Coach Kiffin did eventually acknowledge how great the OU defense was and how talented the individual players are, which was all the class that he needed to show. But for the folks out there that were asking him to be humble in victory, maybe this era of college football just ain't for you.
Well said. Very fair. Not everybody agrees with that.
That's fine.
Lane Kiffin is that WWE character. As you pointed out, he can't coach every job or every school. And I think he's in a very interesting spot, right? He's in the headlines on Saturday because of the fact that we have the post game with the OU player. LSU fires their head coach. He's supposedly Florida's #1 target. If anyone has watched the documentary that Ryan McGee did on Lane Kiffin that aired a few weeks ago, if you haven't, go on the ESPN app and watch it. I don't understand, even though Florida's a better job than Ole Miss, LSU's a better job than Ole Miss. They'll both pay more. They both have access to better players. I don't understand how Lane Kiffin can take either one of them after watching that documentary.
Because such a good fit with him in Ole Miss.
The entire documentary is how he has lived a roller coaster life, how his off-field stuff caught up with him at times, and now he has found he has found his personal and family health at a job like Ole Miss that has him in the top 10 in the country every year, I don't know how you leave that. And he may. He may. But watch the documentary and tell me that Lane Kiffin should leave. You can't do it.
Yeah, but let's see what sort of numbers are being thrown his way.
I understand.
It's hard to turn that down.
Understood.
Next.
Number 1.
Kevin Stefanski is sticking with Dylan Gabriel as the starting quarterback after their bye week. And I don't understand why. The Cleveland Browns got the doors blown off of them up in Foxborough 32-13. And Dylan Gabriel was awful. Gabriel, in his 4 starts, has 2 completions of 10 air yards, has 12 completions of 10 air yards or more across 142 pass attempts, the fewest of any quarterback to start and finish all 4 games during that span. Yesterday, against the Patriots, Gabriel threw 2 brutal picks in the third quarter, both of which led to touchdowns for the Pats, ballooning the New England lead to 3 possessions. Gabriel is small, he's got a noodle arm, limited escapability, and afraid to consistently throw the ball down the field. Sounds like a great combination, y'all. With respect to intangibles, players and quarterbacks especially have to show a dominant trait beyond just leadership in order for the team to buy in and ultimately have success. I get that the Browns are bad, but why not get a look at Shedeur when he's healthy to see if he can fare any better as opposed to rolling with a quarterback that has the second worst second worst passer rating since week 5?
We will get to that answer in just a few minutes. But first, CC has this from 5 Hour Energy.
What's coming along? Just out of curiosity.
Do anything for a win? What are we talking about? Browns Radio Network.
He got the
ESPN
win.
Cleveland.
He got the win he was looking for.
At the bank.
He got the win he
I
was
knew
looking
it.
for.
All right, I know we were going to
Boy,
touch
is he
on
winning.
Man.
Dylan
Undefeated
Gabriel
at the
part of
bank.
this.
The people at the bank act so friendly.
Oh, he gets extra lollipops.
Let's hear this cut in full because I know we were going to get into the Dylan Gabriel part of it, but now Javonte and Nuno and Cam, Pat's out sick today, just came back with this that now it's going to drive me nuts. So let's dive into this for a second. New England beat Cleveland 32-13. Now, to be clear, Myles Garrett annihilated the 4th overall pick in the draft, Will Campbell.
Yeah,
he had
it was bad.
5 sacks. He was a one-man wrecking crew, but his team lost 32-13. New England was awful in the first half. Cleveland was fine, including Dylan Gabriel in the first half. They were fine.
What was it, 9-7 at the half?
What was it? You may have been
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
I don't remember
9-7. It was a close game.
They were fine in the first half. Not good nor bad. They were fine. Like totally serviceable. Dylan Gabriel's performance and the Browns' performance in the first half. New England annihilated them in the second half. But here is what Myles Garrett had to say about throwing the whole performance away for a win.
I want to win. I don't care how much time is on the clock. They got their starters in. There's a chance we can win. I want to be a part of that. I don't care how dire the situation looks. I'm going to try to make something happen. So I hate coming out of those situations. I hate, that kind of inevitability and not being able to do anything about it because I want to win and I'll do anything.
How hard is it, how tough is it for you guys to have such good defense for you to be out there getting 5 sacks and putting the team on your back and just to not have any offense to go with it?
It doesn't get any easier each week you ask me. So.
How do you feel about your performance? Does the loss diminish how you feel about your performance today at all, I guess?
I would throw the whole performance away for a win.
It is truly remarkable that the gift that was given by Myles Garrett to the Cleveland Browns was rejected. He asked them for a trade. They're going nowhere fast. He was going to get $40 million regardless of where he went.
Yep.
The fact that all parties involved didn't take advantage of this amicable potential breakup is just unbelievable. Who rejects Christmas gifts or Hanukkah gifts? The Browns and Myles Garrett somehow, we're good. We're good. We don't want them. What are you doing? He asked for a trade. He got the $40 million. He would have gotten it from anyone, Smalls.
Can I ask you a question? You look at that Cleveland Browns roster. Outside of Myles Garrett, are there any forever players on that team?
Why would you want to be a forever player?
No, I'm just
Graham, the defensive lineman?
I'm just at we don't know what he is or anything. He's a solid player
The
right
answer
now.
is no.
We don't know if he's a forever player.
The answer is no.
Like there's only one guy that you can point to that you say, yeah, that guy is going to be in the Ring of Honor when his career is over.
That number is going to be retired.
Yeah. There's only one guy on the team. You got to remember that you want to win games. The goal is to be able to get to the point where you can compete for championships consistently. But the NFL is also an entertainment product. They don't have a face of the franchise quarterback. Their face of the franchise is Myles Garrett. So if you move on from him, if you're Jimmy Haslam, what are you selling?
What are you selling now?
What? At least you can sell number 95. Hey, he went out there and set a franchise sack record for a single game.
He was unreal.
He was unbelievable. Mike Vrabel was gushing about the guy post-game, saying he's glad he only has to play him once and not twice. Myles Garrett is unbelievable. You got something that everybody in the NFL wants, which is maybe the best defensive player in the league. And he's been that for the better part of the last decade. That's why they don't want to move on from him. So I would agree with you that it was in the best interest of the football team in moving the program forward to trade Myles Garrett this offseason. But where I will push back is I don't think it was in the best interest of the overall entertainment product.
I don't know how Browns fans could watch that and be entertained, but Smalls, I think about your team, the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
Micah took the $40+ million that he has earned, going to a team that he knew already had a quarterback. When you take the $40+ million,
by the way, more than a quarterback, it's a playoff team he went to.
Yes.
A young ascending playoff team with a good coach.
Myles Garrett should not turn down $40+ million. But when you take $40+ million for a team that doesn't have a quarterback, you're going nowhere fast. That's the reality.
Yeah, I appreciate Myles Garrett's competitive nature. Like, I appreciate that he is frustrated by the deficiencies on this football team.
No.
It cannot be easy to go out there and have an individual performance like that and know that your team can't do anything to help you get a win. They cannot help you get a win because you don't have a quarterback. However, this is the Mike Trout of football. You chose to be there. You knew that you didn't have a quarterback. You knew that this was an historically dysfunctional franchise.
Yep.
I get so mad about Mike Trout because he's so great and he elected to stay with the Angels. You're with Shohei Ohtani for 6 seasons, 0 playoff wins, but you chose to be there, and he doesn't complain about how inept that franchise is. He's happy being stable there for his life, his family, etc. And while I love that Myles Garrett is competitive, you signed up for this, buddy. Yeah, it was a very lucrative contract for you, a very lucrative deal that you made with this organization. But you had been there. You are in the building every day. You know how this story is going to end, and you chose to be there.
You made a lot of good points. The number one for me is that Trout doesn't complain that the Angels don't win.
He knows what time it is.
Yeah, Myles is unbelievable.
I got more respect for Myles Garrett, though. I appreciate that he is complaining that they don't win. But
you signed up for that.
It's like complaining that your spouse is cheating on you when they cheated on you before you got engaged. You knew they were a cheater.
Time out. We're getting too hyperbolic because you're saying that he signed up for that, and I get the history of the Cleveland Browns, but every player goes into every season believing that there is a path for his team to be more competitive than the general public thinks. And I'm pretty sure that Myles Garrett, who is the anchor on one of the best defenses in the entire National Football League, believes that if they can get some semblance of competent quarterback play, i.e. Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett or Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders or eventually Deshaun Watson, maybe, just maybe, we can find a way to be in this thing once we get to December. Now, it hasn't worked out for them that way, but to that I will say, at some point, Kevin Stefanski is going to have to make a change just for change's sake, because it's clear that Myles Garrett's frustration is shared by everybody else on that team. And when you got the optics of your best player slamming his helmet on the sideline after Gabriel goes out there and throws 2 brutal interceptions in the second half of that game that effectively seal your fate, at some point something has to change. And it boggles my mind that Kevin Stefanski is adamant about sticking with Dylan Gabriel after the bye week, after we've seen the quarterback throughout the course of his first 4 starts rank dead last in yards per pass attempt, yards per dropback, air yards per attempt, and have the second worst QBR during that span. only to Titans rookie Cam Ward.
And who would you like him to go with?
When Shedeur Sanders is healthy, when Deshaun Watson is healthy, go with one of those options. Hell, even if it's Bailey Zappi, go with one of those options. At some point, you're going to have to do something different because continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity.
So it's not
and we're
necessarily-
borderline at that point.
But it's not necessarily a Shedeur thing for you.
No, it doesn't have to be a
Because he may not be healthy enough to play. He has a back injury.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens after the bye week, right? Like he had a back injury yesterday. They've got a bye week. We'll see what ends up happening after that. But, I mean, you got to get somebody else ready to go in and be the guy. And I'm not saying that it's over for Dillon Gabriel in Cleveland, because it's not. He's a young, ascending player. But right now, it's too big for him. And he limits what your offense can be. The guy can't throw the ball down the field. And now, all of a sudden, defenses are stacking the box, taking away Quishon Junkins and Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson. They're taking away your run game because you won't throw the ball down the field or you can't throw the ball down the field. Either way, the impact is the same. And if you're a defensive player, you're getting tired of seeing the ineptitude on the offensive side of the ball, and you're getting tired of opposing offenses holding the ball as long as the Patriots did yesterday. I mean, it's hard to play defense when the opposing team is holding the ball for over 36 minutes. And that's in large part because your offense can't sustain drives. They were 2 of 11 on third downs, 1 of 3 on fourth downs. Come on, man. It's bad. And something has to change.
Coming up, ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody will join us in studio next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. I mean, do we want to just... You called me out last week for not getting to the team that I root for and you played for quick enough.
Yeah.
What do you think about your guy, Drake May?
Listen, I'm going to just keep repeating until the cows come home about Drake May. I've been saying for a few weeks now, Drake May is playing like a top 5 quarterback in this league. Nothing, absolutely nothing has changed about that at all.
Can he win MVP?
Yes, he can. At the way he's playing right now, he absolutely can. Now, listen, if I had to pick right now, it'd be Jonathan Taylor.
So good.
Jonathan Taylor's just been outstanding for the Indianapolis Colts, but Drake May has just been lighting it up for the New England Patriots. That's a big reason why Patriots are sitting on top of the AFC East right now.
I got to ask you about the team on the other sideline in Foxborough yesterday. That would be the Cleveland Browns. Why is Kevin Stefanski so staunch in his stance on Dillon Gabriel remaining the starting quarterback?
Well, I will say this. Their future quarterback is not on their roster. It's just not. Like, let's just keep it a buck. It is just not on that roster. I know you're going to see what you have in Dillon Gabriel, but Dillon Gabriel is just a puny quarterback. I mean, my God, like, Evan, you might be bigger than Dillon Gabriel. Like, he is a puny guy. Small people don't last in the NFL. That's just a fact. And it doesn't seem like with this coaching staff, they don't have much of a taste for Shedeur Sanders as well. So I just feel like their future quarterback is somewhere in the draft or some other place.
You know who's not puny at quarterback? Jordan Love. Damien.
Boy, she's been waiting for that.
She's been waiting.
Second half for Jordan Love and the Packers. He goes on a run 20 consecutive completions. The revenge game for Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love shows us why we trust in Brian Gutekunst and that he made the right decision to draft Jordan Love and move on from Aaron Rodgers. But how scary is this Green Bay Packers team?
Smalls, what we were talking about before the break, we were like, if we're getting this Jordan Love, like what we saw last night, they're going to be punching a ticket to Santa Clara, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because they're the youngest team in the league. They got playmakers all up and down their roster. No question about it. And the only question that you really have with Green Bay is, how consistent is the quarterback? We know he has all-world talent. We've seen him put it together in spurts. But if he puts together consistently like he normally does on the second half of seasons, if he does that, they'll be in Santa Clara. With that defense and Michael Parsons and company, yeah, they're that good.
I'm smiling ear to ear over there.
Come on.
She's smiling ear to ear.
That's the team that we saw in the first 2 weeks. That's
Yes.
what we have expected to see from the Green Bay Packers. And I thought after they lost to the Cleveland Browns, it would be a wake-up call for a team that probably listened to the outside noise about how good they were.
That happens with young teams sometimes.
Yeah,
They
but-
listen to their press clippings and all that type of stuff. Yeah.
But then you tie the Cowboys, you're kind of wondering what this team is, but they showed us last night they can be really, really good.
But yeah, I will say this, and Cece, you know this as well. The NFL is such a week-to-week league.
No doubt.
We get 1 week, I could be heaping praise on the Green Bay Packers, and the next week they could throw up a stinker, and we'd be like, "What the hell is going on with the Green Bay Packers?" It really. That's why I always say, for me, usually around Thanksgiving is when teams start separating themselves. The contenders are like, yeah, we know we're good. Now it's time to take it to the next level. The bad teams are looking ahead at the calendar like, okay, when can I start throwing my stuff in a black trash bag and get up out of here? That's usually how it happens. So when we get to Thanksgiving, you'll start to see the real separation.
How come nobody ever brings luggage? Seriously, it's always the black trash bag. You guys can't just bring a suitcase in when you're leaving? It has to be the black trash bag? Never understood that.
That sounds like
The suitcase is already packed up with my clothes.
that's it. Please
you already
let him
have
know.
it. The suitcase is already used up.
Most guys don't live where they play.
Oh, yeah,
They're
that's
going
right.
home for the offseason. The suitcase got their clothes in it.
Got it.
The Louis
All right.
luggage, the Gucci luggage, they got my clothes in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Expensive clothes at that.
Understood.
Exactly. What you mean?
All right, makes sense. We're talking with ESPN NFL analyst
That's in
Damian
the
Woody.
trunk of the car that I done already shipped home.
Already.
I'm riding around in a rental for the last few weeks.
There you go.
Even issued gear can go in the trash bag.
Damian, worst loss yesterday amongst these three. Which team had the worst loss? Chicago to Baltimore, Atlanta to Miami, or Cincinnati to the Jets?
Wow. I really struggle with this one. I'm going to go Cincinnati. That's a bad loss. Listen, I'm happy for my former franchise with everything that happened yesterday and how they were able to come back and pull that one out. But, bro, come on. Like, you're at home. You give up 39 points to the Jets, who couldn't score, like, the prior 2 weeks, couldn't score a touchdown. And you gave up 39 points to Justin Fields, who was going to be benched for Tyrod Taylor, but Tyrod Taylor was hurt, and then he's back in the starting lineup, and he arguably plays his best game of the year at your place with the opportunity to really make hay within your own division, considering everything that's happened in the division, and you just dropped the stinker. That's a bad, bad loss for Cincinnati.
Yesterday, we saw the Philadelphia Eagles handle their business against the New York Giants. Of course, A.J. Brown didn't play due to, quote, injury. Curious from your perspective, even though I understand the Eagles aren't a more talented team without A.J. Brown, are they a better team without A.J. Brown?
I don't think so. I don't think they're a better team. Now, here's what I will say, because people will ask this question. Did you see, I've already heard the rumbling. You see how the Eagles performed yesterday without A.J. Brown? Should they trade him? No, hell no. Don't trade him during the season. Now, in the offseason, that's a whole different story. But during the season, no, I need all hands on deck to try to repeat. Because make no mistake about it, A.J. Brown, you can say what you want about all the tweets and all those type of things. He's still one of the best receivers in the game.
No question.
And you need all hands on deck to try to repeat as champions.
But yesterday we saw Saquon go off in a way
Yes.
that we've been waiting for this entire season. What was different about yesterday as far as Saquon is concerned in your
Big
mind?
thing, the quarterback under center. We've been seeing Jalen Hurts living in shotgun, for most of the season. And, as a former lineman, quite honestly, I hate when teams run the ball out of shotgun. If you're going to do it with run-pass option. Don't just be back there and hand the ball off. When you're under center, you have everything available to you. So many different run schemes, play action pass. You become a lot more unpredictable. And so you saw that yesterday with Jalen Hurts under center, and look how much better the running game and the offense looked yesterday.
Yeah.
I would ban the shotgun offense. I hate it. I absolutely despise it. I don't understand why teams run it. It's awful. Why do they do this?
I guess because there's so many, like in
understand.
college, everyone's in spread, everyone's in shotgun, but like being on the center, it's just the run game and the passing game marry so much together when you're underneath center. I think, we need to do like a teaching tape of why that is the case and why that is so important. And clearly you could see it yesterday in the Eagles game.
Can you try? I know you said you need to do a tape. Can you just try, like, in a minute or less, to explain what the difference is when a team like the Eagles yesterday is running out of under center and how much of an impact it can make?
Yeah, because we always talk about, like, in the passing game, there's a timing and rhythm. There's timing and rhythm in a running game as well, because the running back has to marry up what the offensive line is doing in front of them. And when you're in shotgun, the running back is offset. He's not in sync with the line. But when you're, what we call in the dot or right behind the quarterback, when the quarterback is under center, the pace and the rhythm of the running game is so much better. And then off of that, it's the play action. So everything looks the same. You know what I mean? You can have running plays, passing plays that look just like running plays under center. That's when you get the huge chunks in the passing game. So, me personally, I much rather have a quarterback underneath center than in shotgun.
Are you more confused on the defensive side of the ball when that happens? If it's under center? Like, is it harder for you?
Yeah, but I think the other part to the game is that these young quarterbacks are more comfortable in the shotgun.
Right, that's why.
Because they can see it and they've been doing it all their lives, right?
Right.
Quarterbacks are less comfortable having their back turned to the defense.
Correct.
And the explosive plays in the passing game when you're under center come off of play action when the quarterback has to turn his back to the defense. So there is all of that. There is way more processing in the passing game for a quarterback to be under center than in the shotgun.
So you have to graduate to that, in essence. You need years.
And some players never do.
Got it.
So there is that. But Damian, before we let you get out of here, I got to ask you about your late teammate, Nick Mangold.
Yep.
What did he mean to you as a player, and what will be your lasting memories of him?
Yeah, man. Like, Nick was a brother. I always say, like, when we play, we're in a special fraternity. We're in a brotherhood, and in the offensive line, we're a team within a team. And the one thing that I loved about Nick was Nick never took himself too serious. He was always a guy who wanted to kind of keep things lightheaded, light leveled in the players' room. I just remember us just always like drinking beers while we were in meetings, just kind of doing all those type of things. But the one thing about Nick, he was the best lineman I've ever played with.
Wow.
The best lineman that I've ever played with, and he always made us look good. I can't even recall a time where he just put us in a bad position. He was literally the quarterback on the offensive line, and he always made us look good out there on the football field. He's going to be missed.
Gone way too soon, obviously. 41 years old. Just a horrible, horrible tragedy. Damien Woody will be on Get Up today at 8 a.m. Eastern. No obvious easy transition off of that. But Damien, we'll have fun on Get Up because I've interviewed Mangolds. You probably guys have talked to him. He was fun.
He was a fun guy.
Is the word that I don't claim to know him, but he was fun.
It was fun unless you had to play against him.
That's right.
Damien Woody, thank you as always. Guys,